No kidding.
Take it easy, baby. You deserve it.
I can see that's like the light in your eyes.
So yeah, I mean, I was at home, 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that, 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was. I don't recall the exact time. But it was Zach's mum, and I knew as soon as I saw it was her calling at that time, I knew something was wrong. Didn't know what yet, but I knew something was wrong. So the first instinct as a parent is deep breath, brace yourself, and that's kind of what I did. I was expecting something. Zach's mum was hysterical on the phone, screaming that he'd broken his back. I was a bit sceptical because I didn't know how she had this information. Tried to get her to retrace her steps, who she'd spoken to, etc. Turns out she'd actually spoken to Zach. Somebody had given him a phone and he'd managed to call his mum while he was lying on his back on the floor from the crash scene, from where he'd landed.
At about 11:50 last night, a coach has left the carriageway of the A3 travelling northbound towards London and has, it's hit a substantial oak tree, and we are dealing with a fatal accident. There's 3 people that we've identified as dying at the scene, and we've got one more seriously injured in hospital, and we're not certain on the extent of the other casualties.
Managed to give some information to his mum regarding his natural feeling for what had happened, and his mum passed on this information to me. He thought he broke his back, and it turns out that is exactly what happened. You feel instantly connected like a magnet. Something pulls you towards it, towards your child. So my instinct was to just get down to wherever he was as fast as possible, which meant jumping in the car and hitting the motorway for about 5 or 6 hours. It took us to get down to Southampton, where Zach had been airlifted from the crash site to Southampton General Hospital, where the surgeons were waiting to perform a 50-50 life and death situation operation on him to try and prevent as much further injury as possible. We pleaded, or Zach's mum pleaded with them on the phone to not go ahead until we got there for this operation, and they said they'd lay off a little bit, which they did, and by the time we got there we found ourselves running up into the ward just as he was. They couldn't wait any longer at all. They were literally rolling him into the operating theatre as we got there. We managed to see him for a few seconds, told him we loved him, we'd be here waiting for him if he came out the other side, which he did. Then it was time to meet the consultants. We had various meetings, consultations with him, and sort of didn't think we were getting anywhere, really, I suppose. Zach's mum wasn't happy. She started researching other alternative treatments, other physiotherapy centres in the private sector, and we got to a point where, after numerous consultations with Zach's consultant, he got to a point where he actually said to Zach, if you ever move your legs again, I'll eat my tie, which was an absolutely devastating thing to say to a 22-year-old boy who'd just been through such a massive trauma, as you can imagine. So that spurred us on. That gave us strength collectively. Zach's mum, Emma, found Prime Physio online. I think she was doing some research into alternative therapies. She came across Prime Physio, which is in Cambridge, a little village called Melbourne in Cambridge. And she started to talk to them about what they had to offer, and she came to the conclusion that it would be something that Zach would benefit from. She spoke to me, myself and Zach about it, and we were a little bit dubious really at first, we must admit, but then we agreed that it would be definitely worth pursuing. And we kind of got together on it, me and Zach's mum, and Zach was more sceptical about it, and we literally had to drag him into the car to take him down to Cambridge. This is after he'd been released. Well, I say released, he wasn't in jail, but it felt like at some times, I bet. This is when he'd been discharged from Southport Spinal Injury Centre, and he was out of the hospital. The main contributor to Zach getting to where he is now, the main contributor is Zach himself. Yes! For the amount of effort he's put in. Yes! Over the years, sessions he's done in Prime Physio, some of them have been absolutely incredible and bring a tear to your eye. He's so focused, it's just untrue. He's so driven. He was always driven, always focused, always determined kid when he was younger, but growing up now, going through all this, I don't know where he gets the strength from sometimes. He's absolutely inspiring, he really is, to all of us. And the drive he has, and the focus, and the pain that he goes through, it's just incredible. It really is.
Love is a language we become wide. The ghost of our citizenship we can never hide. This anchor has stuck below ground. A weight of words, it's only a sound. Leaving the ship was our rise and fall. We will sound the trumpet is our call. Send love to the heart of the big woods floor. On the low light of night we'll rise, won't fall. No boundary in our voice, we navigate from the crash. There's baggage we bring, might be our last. A whip to the heart of the millennial water fast. The human race is a thing of the past.
Very strong performance today.
Even the ship was our rise and fall. We'll sound the trumpet with our call. Send love to the heart of the biggest war. On the Lord light and night we'll
as soon as he got out of hospital, he thought, right, well, I better make the most of this. I think I've had a close scrape, I suppose. I better start making the most of life. Not that he didn't before, he was always full of vigour and vavavoom. But he took it upon himself to take on challenges that that normal people in normal situations would shirk at doing. And Zach was only out of hospital for a matter of weeks, and he was skydiving from a plane at however many thousand feet it was. Last year, he took on the half marathon walk around Liverpool, the Rock and Roll Marathon, which he completed in 6 hours on crutches. And this year, we're hoping he's going to do the same with the London Marathon. He's going to compete in 2018 London Marathon, and the strength he's going to get from that will be absolutely incredible. The confidence it will give him for going into any future event will just be, it's absolutely priceless.